I'm thrilled to see that we've actually got a quorum. So let's get this started. Today is June 11, 2025, and this is the regularly scheduled meeting of the Cohasset Affordable Housing Trust. We start the meeting by calling to order by roll. Ted Carr,
Ted Carr, present.
Cindy Matheson,
Cindy Matheson, present.
Rob Henry,
Rob Henry, present.
and Steve Gomer, present. We have a quorum.
I can sit on the other side, so if we have to talk to each other.
We have a quorum and the meeting is now open. And it's pleasing to see because this is the last four of the Mohicans. So, all right, let's jump right into the agenda. Is there public comment for anything not on the agenda? Super. Now I beg to ask you, say, first item up then.
43 Elm.
43 Elm update, which I believe now has the signed lip application in. We're done. Marketing has started.
Yes.
All right, go ahead, take it from there, please.
So the marketing has started. The lottery is open for applications to the lottery. The lottery will take place in August. I believe they're planning to take applications through the end of July. I spoke with the lottery agent yesterday. She has not received any applications yet, but it's still early. It's only been out for a week or two. And she noted that she typically sees the most applications after the information session that is held. So
Okay.
she's anticipating.
I'm sorry, you say information session?
Yes,
So
the
what
lottery
is it?
agent holds an information session as a part of the marketing.
Okay, but who does he hold that with? And is it something people can log into or?
Yes, it's Zoom only. And it's in the advertisement and the application. It comes with that packet. So anybody who sees the advertisement will have that information.
And people who have expressed interest, how do they know when this is available?
It's listed on there, the date and the time that the Zoom will be happening.
No, but how do they know even to go to get a packet?
It's advertised here. It's advertised at Town Hall in the library. It's
That if I
multiple different locations on the town's website and the newsletter.
it goes beyond this community as well. as I
That's what I'm
understand it.
getting at.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
It's broad based.
Yes, the lottery agent has a list of places that they advertise with.
And beyond the advertising itself, any number of social service entities, are part of that network. So, if there are buyers or folks interested in affordable housing, the outreach is available.
Mhm.
And this, a marketing agent is plugged into those networks. So they generally cast a wide net. I think the biggest, if there's a limiting factor on this particular property, it's that it's the South Shore and it's a pain in the ass to get here. On the other hand, if you want to live on the South Shore, wherever you live currently, it becomes attractive. So, all right. Anything? There was one item that
No, I still need to talk about 43 Elm.
we're still on 43 Elm.
Okay.
The other item that had arisen was the need to address either the cleaning or replacement of gutters. Right? And that was a contact that you had with South Shore Habitat, correct?
Yes, so for those members who weren't in the loop, the current owner of Unit 1 noted after the last big storm that there are some issues with the gutters. Either they need to be cleaned out or replaced. Regardless, they need to be assessed. So I spoke with South Shore Habitat as the holder of the HOA funds. They stated that a member of the trust and one of the owners of Unit 1 would need to meet and decide essentially which contractor to go with. So I had reached out to the owner of Unit 1 who offered up some dates that were unavailable for trust members. I talked to her again yesterday. She's available either June 25th or 26th after 4, or July 10th or July 16th after 4.
Okay, so my one question is, because I've had gutter problems at my own homes. is if the gutters haven't been inspected yet, I think that would be a good first step. Getting a contractor in can help, determine whether or not they're just clogged with leaves and crap, or they truly do need to be replaced, which could become a larger project.
Of course.
Is anybody available? Because I will not be.
Okay, can I add to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
One of the things that has to be done in getting that unit ready, that we talked about months ago, is to clean the windows inside and out. Okay?
Right.
And we said, let's not do it because unfortunately it's good. We would have wasted our money because all the pollen and everything would come back. But the company that I got the quote, they also do gutters. They clean gutters, and they could maybe make an assessment. If I got them to requote.
So what was let's step back for just a second. When they came in and quoted the window cleaning, what did that come in at
I don't remember the number now off the top of my head.
approximately?
I think $600 or $700.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
The company does gutters. I don't think they replace them, but they,
no, but cleaning them.
Yeah.
The height above the ground is sufficient to say that there's, you would want a contractor with a
oh,
bond. to do it.
absolutely. I'd
Not-
have the ladder would have to be
Yeah.
specifically for that.
So, Ted and Cindy, this is a conversation, we're recounting a conversation that, Rob and I had during a walkthrough after the completed renovations of 43 Elm Unit 2. And as we were looking around, the windows, this was probably in March.
Yeah.
The windows were cloudy. They clearly hadn't been cleaned inside or out in certainly a couple of years. If they had been at any time. Rob and I had decided that it made sense to talk to a contractor, find out what it would take to clean those windows inside and out. And remember, they're older, double hung, they do not tilt in, tilt out. So it means ladder work. And, from our perspective, even though it's an inexpensive property in the context of Cohasset, you still want to show it at its potential best, because we're offering it out at a fairly sizable sum of money. Rob opted to wait because it was still springtime, et cetera, and now you've heard the rest.
Yeah.
Between pollen and rainstorms and so on, it's probably a good thing that we waited. I've got
Excuse me, I've been able to find a quick one, $873.
Okay, I've got a suggestion for us that we might want to consider. In the form of a motion, affording a budget, incorporating the window cleaning, but also recognizing that we want to have the gutters inspected. And potentially cleaned, of course, if they need it. My guess is they do. And in that, have the trust pick it up if there's additional funds there will be additional funds, but if they're not extraordinary, with respect to the inspection of the gutters, offer to split that portion of it with Unit 1.
So I just want to be clear that the decision of which contractor to go with has to come from both
Under,
Unit 2 and Unit 1. So
under,
my suggestion was going to be that whoever goes to this meeting come with a suggestion of a contractor, so we could use this company.
yeah, the alternative is to just move it along. Having said that, I am painfully aware of how much fun it is to deal with condo associations, being part of one. And in this respect, yes, we can do that. Let me split this back up. Ted and Cindy, are you in favor of having the windows cleaned for $873?
Yes.
Okay, can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all right, with motion made to clean the windows on Unit 2 for the pre-existing estimate of $873. Motions made and seconded. Start with Rob Henry.
To approve it, just the 873.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Rob Henry, aye.
Ted Carr,
Aye.
Cindy Matheson,
Cindy Matheson, I.
Steve Gomer, aye. Okay, great, that's approved. May we also have a motion to propose the use of the same contractor for gutter inspection? And that proposal would be forwarded to Unit 1 owners based upon the contractor's availability on those dates.
So the trust is gonna pay for the window
Window
cleaning and the Habitat will pay for the gutters?
Well, it's not, basically, it's both units, right? It's us, or the current owners, and you owners of Unit
So we
1.
would split the cost.
We'd split the cost there.
But it would come out of the HOA fund.
Come out of the HOA, but
That would come out
we're
of
paying.
HOA, the windows would come out of the trust fund.
Correct.
That's right.
Not
So moved.
Okay,
second,
all right. Here we go again. Once, Rob Henry,
Rob Henry, aye.
Ted Carr,
Aye.
Cindy Matheson,
Cindy Matheson, I.
Steve Gomer, aye. Okay, so we'll move forward with that meeting with Unit 1. I'm sorry, my schedule from here on out gets very tight. And
Oh, I-
my schedule ends on June 30th in any case.
Well, I will have to let you know. When, did she give a time on the 25th or 26th?
After 4.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. You already said that. All right. Because I mean, I'm away next week, which is why I couldn't do it. I will give you a call either today or tomorrow and let you know which day would work.
Okay.
Seems to me I got an item one of those 2 days, but not both. So,
Great. And you'll take care of contacting the window cleaning company?
yeah.
Okay, great.
So is it just me that has to go see Diane Aaron's?
Anybody else who wants to go along can, but it's the availability more than anything else.
Correct. So we need at least one person to meet with them.
I could be that person. Yeah.
You can.
I don't need a witness.
No. No, you've got. you
I'm
just
going to be
got-
out of town then as well.
You just got all the authorizations, so.
The incentive is that at 5 o'clock is cocktail hour, so we could have a drink.
All right, are we concluded then with 43 Elm for the moment?
Unless Rob had anything else.
No, no, nothing else at this point.
Okay. Next item up, I believe, is Paul Kears, right?
Correct.
Paul Kears with an update from the steering committee.
And guys, sorry to interrupt. My apologies. I just got to switch locations. I'll be right back onto the call in just a moment.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Ed, Paul, can I ask you to hold for a moment until Ted gets back on? Because now we're without. a quorum. Uh,
While we're waiting for Ted to come back on, the window cleaning company will just need to complete a W-9.
As I told them that.
Okay.
Yeah, but thank you for the reminder because I don't want to break any rules.
yeah, and make sure you
Away.
straighten out,
Who?
make sure you straighten out with payments with him in advance so that he doesn't become a frustrated contractor.
Yeah,
I'm
I don't-
pretty quick with getting the,
I mean.
Great. No,
Yeah.
that's what I mean.
Yeah, I mean,
That's-
Cassandra, I think, can attest to all the delays and all everything else, paying a vendor has not been an issue.
No, I'm simply,
I mean, fortunately.
I'm simply looking at it saying this may be a new vendor, get him set up. make
Oh,
sure
yeah,
they get
he
paid.
is definitely a new
That's-
vendor.
Ah.
I'm gonna have, I mean, not that this has to be a part of a motion, but I told you at the last meeting this, where somebody looks like somebody tried to wash the floor with the dirt on it and never bothered, complete the activity. So there's floor needs to be washed.
Okay,
Somebody was in there, who knows who, not me, with dirt, and then it looks like somebody tried to clean it up, but didn't bother to complete the job.
Ted,
It's 5 minutes to do it, but
Ted is back on. Ted, you are muted.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
I'm with you.
That's all right. Paul, if you like, take it away.
Sure. I would like to begin with just making a comment about something not specific to the steering committee, but during our annual town hall meeting, the select board had given out a citation of appreciation to Wayne Sawchuk for all of the work that he has done through his life in the town of Cohasset. And I just wanted to let the folks know here that Wayne had passed away on Saturday.
Oh, no.
For
Oh,
those,
no.
yes, for those who don't know, and he had been battling cancer for quite some time, and so he had succumbed to that on Saturday. So it appears that the posting of the obituary and everything should happen by tomorrow, so I can give you folks an update. As you know, Wayne was a proponent of affordable housing to the extent that he had a lot of property that he wanted to look into building specifically for affordable housing and senior housing. So I worked with him and our committee on one particular lot that he had in the village where we were able to get letters written in support of his project from Senator O'Connor, Congressman Lynch, State Representative Joe Machino. So it's a sad day for the town. You know, he's born and raised here and did everything he could to improve the town, and so he'll be sorely missed.
That he will,
moving-
Paul.
Yeah. So moving on to the Affordable Housing Steering Committee update. Last in front of you to talk about flagging some property, the Esposito property, Esposito property, I should say, which is on 3A, and then the property at the end of Evergreen. So we went ahead and we did that flagging, if you will, which is a lower level of investigating the property to see if it warrants further surveying. And so we did hire the contractor to go ahead and do the property. He did walk on both properties. One in particular, we have an aerial view of the Esposito property, and I'm going to share my screen if I can. Share screen. Down. So this is the Esposito lot. I think you guys can see.
Mm-hmm.
And this lot here is in a conservation trust, I believe. And then this lot here is also in the conservation trust. There are two different conservation groups that own it. I don't know the difference between the two off the top of my head, but one either has a conservation restriction and one's in a trust. I don't know, but what we were talking about is this stuff here in the middle, this basically this whole lot here, and then this V-shaped lot here. And bring a bit more. This is where the building is right here, where it says upland. And that means that this property here is above the wetlands and would be perceived as buildable. And then in here is also an area that is possible for building a home. What we discussed at length at our committee was, can we build something? And if so, is it worth building something? And so the issue we had was we don't believe we can get to this property here because it is surrounded by wetlands.
Right.
So that was kind of pushed out right at the beginning. What we focused our energy on is this small parcel of land here. And the committee went back and forth quite a bit on could a house be put there or not. You know, we're looking at this this house here kind of to scale it, right? Because this is a small house here across the street. Would that kind of house fit here? And how close is it to all of the other areas that are wetlands here? And we kind of came to the conclusion that it probably would be very hard to pursue putting a home here for a number of reasons. We don't believe that some of these setback areas would be conducive to the home. It's on 3A, so there's got to be a setback, I believe, from 3A. So we're not sure how the house would be situated, if it could be situated here. And then this property all down in here is actually at a lower grade than where the building is. If you ever drive by it, you know, down in here was a lower area where tables were set up that had all the plants on them that you could buy. So the board, after quite a lengthy discussion, decided that it would be best not to pursue affordable housing for this property. We recommended that all of this be put into a conservation trust or some sort of conservation restriction to kind of permanently make it part of the town's open space, if you will, or conservation property, since it does have a particular river, if you will, that runs down underneath this property and gets down way into here into where the water supply is. So we had one person attend from the general public who said, you know, not so fast, you know, there's a couple of committees that are considering looking at this property to put in a park. So that was the comment that we had in the open public meeting.
And if I
So-
remember correctly, there's a proposal that's offering out is it a land swap for a radio tower likewise as well?
Correct.
So,
Yeah, and that would be most of this stuff in here, is my guess. It doesn't, I guess it doesn't matter where the land physically is, because this is one pork chop right here of land.
right,
And then this triangle is another one. So if they do a land swap, they would just state this lot as being swapped, I would guess, or a percentage of that lot being swapped. So I don't know which one the town is swapping, but I would suspect they would want to give this one the swap-a-roo. So in either way, I think that even if they swap the land, this whole lot would then have to be put into some sort of conservation restriction of some sort, and they might as well do this one. But those are decisions made by other folks, I guess.
right.
Now, we did receive something similar to this to Evergreen, but it requires me to go out onto the property with the contractor. And I'm just waiting to schedule some time to do that. So I did not present any of that to our committee yet until I walk the property to see what the lay of the land is, if you will.
Okay. I on a preliminary basis, did the contractor give you any general view of the viability of that property at Evergreen, end of Evergreen?
No, he basically said, okay, here's the low level of what he did for us was just to identify if there's land that's buildable. So he's identifying that there is land that's buildable.
Right.
Right. So the next level would be actually surveying the property at a higher cost to determine, based on the town zoning laws and bylaws, can you put something here? But
Right,
Yes,
but that's
right.
for this piece. I was actually talking about Evergreen.
Yeah, right. So on both properties with Evergreen, we would probably request to go to that next level based on the funding that you approved.
Okay,
Yeah. So right now, we felt this one was better serve the town as conservation land, restricted to open space, if you will, and not something that would be affordable housing as far as we're concerned. So our energy, we would like to focus on the Evergreen and some other land that the town owns that is more viable for affordable housing.
Okay, questions for Paul? I can't,
This is very helpful.
Ted, your audio is breaking up. Can you say that again?
I was just saying, this is very helpful. Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome. On the administrative housekeeping side, I do have an invoice for $560 from the contractor. And the question is, where do we send the invoice? To the trust, to Cassandra, to somebody?
Yeah, send Paul, I think that you'd forward that to Cassandra.
Okay,
Cassandra, I don't know if you need to reference a vote that we'd taken or something like that, but
I could if I needed to.
all right. Yeah, you know that we can't handle the money, right? Paul.
yeah, so
Okay.
yeah, so I'll submit the invoice to Cassandra, and then I would assume the funds come out of the trust to pay it.
That's correct.
Okay, so I'll take care of that, and then I'll keep you updated on where we are with the next steps of Evergreen. I did receive several phone calls over the month from some concerned residents as they saw somebody out there with boots walking around with flags. So I have hopefully eased the concerns of some of those folks. I just told them it's kind of exploratory, and if a house were ever to be built, it would be a regular house. It's not Section 8, 20 unit building. So I just wanted to kind of get that perception out the way from a lot of the folks. So there were some direct abutters that called, and so I had great conversations with them and told them that we're more than happy to address any concerns that they have.
Thank you for that.
Oh, yeah.
So the other part of our affordable housing piece is that 808 Jerusalem is moving right along. They had some change in personnel over there at Habitat, and it had a direct effect on the community here because the people that left were the community organizers. So, it wasn't the contractors, it wasn't the, directors or anything like that. So we kind of there were two people that directly interfaced, one coordinating the volunteers to work on site and the other one coordinating with us on what's happening. So both those folks left, and it was a while before they were able to fill the roles. So there was some disconnect where a couple of groups were concerned that they haven't heard back. So that kind of got ironed out pretty quickly. So there was some folks, I believe, from the Congregational Church that went down last week and volunteered to do some work there. And they were telling us how beautiful the place was. And they're very excited to have been a part of volunteering there. So that's great. It looks like that one unit will be occupied by the woman who had been part of this program with her son for the last 2 years. So she's really had a long wait. And so I believe there will be some sort of ribbon cutting or something towards the end of June. We're not sure. They had a resident for the second half, but that fell through. So now they're resubmitting it to the public to get another resident in that unit. And that unit, I think, is going to be done in July or August. So they may wait until the whole thing is done, but I'll keep you updated as to what their plans are. We have our housing meeting is on the 17th, which is next Tuesday. So hopefully Mary Hines is our subcommittee specific to 808 Jerusalem. So she should be able to get some updates for us, and we'll keep you updated if there's any ribbon cutting or anything like that.
Okay. Paul, thank you for the work on both ends of that. I think you've got funding to keep going with Evergreen, correct?
Correct.
I'm pretty sure we voted, was it $1,500 or something like that, not to exceed?
Something like that.
Yeah. So, okay, super. Much
Got it.
appreciated, Paul.
Okay,
And on a personal note, it's been a pleasure working with you.
thank you. Are you up at the end of June?
Yes, I've self-selected my way out.
Okay.
After 25 years doing work for the town, I think it's time for a new face.
Mhm.
Oh, you're passing the torch to a younger generation? Is there somebody there that's 62?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know what you're doing over the next couple of years, but yeah, no, it's time. As I've explained to people, in 3.5 years from now, I'll retire. I'll sell my wife's and my property here. And
It's
The work that
start living the dream.
yeah, something like that. The work that the
Gonna make it
trust,
affordable?
the work that the trust does and the work that the steering committee does will have and should have a solid and positive impact on the community as a whole. And I don't feel that it's fair or right for me to sit in a position like that, knowing that 3.5 years from now, I won't be part of this community.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
It just doesn't seem quite right. So,
Well, thank you for all that you've done for affordable housing, specifically and generally for the town. You and I worked together a long period of time, especially with the senior center, and all of that has come to fruition because of the hard work that you were able to persevere and move forward. And I do greatly appreciate all your work.
thank you, buddy. But there's, as you know, especially sitting in this building,
Yeah.
there were a lot of hands involved that made that happen. So not only in its initial creation, but bringing it to the finish line. So
Absolutely.
thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Take care,
Thank you,
Paul.
Paul.
Take care. We'll see you. Thank you.
All right. I think that's the last substantive thing. I mean, not to say that the administrative stuff isn't substantive, but
Correct?
are invoices first or minutes first?
Whatever your pleasure.
Well, let's take on the invoices.
Okay.
Uh,
So you have one invoice to approve. It's the June HOA invoice in the amount of $476.97.
so sad to say, folks, but we're still paying the HOA fee before we have residents in there. So it's our responsibility and we can't skimp on it. That's my only comment.
So moved.
Before I ask for, thank you very much, Ted. Second, anyone?
Uh,
Second,
All right. Motion and a second. Assuming no further discussion, we'll go straight ahead to a vote. Cindy Matheson,
Cindy Matheson, I.
Ted Carr,
Aye.
Rob Henry,
Rob Henry, aye.
Steve Gomer, aye. Okay, motion passes. All right, minutes from the May meeting?
Correct. You have minutes from May 14th.
And do we have to, or have we already addressed the minutes taker?
So that is another administrative item.
I
So
knew it was coming up.
so at your last meeting, there was a vote to interview with the intent to hire Leontina, Rob's wife, Rob Jeffers, his wife. So I met with her. She is willing and able. So she is going to get started on the minutes as of this meeting. She was unable to attend. I think they had family in town for this meeting, but she's hoping to attend some others to, at the very least, do an introduction.
Okay, great. Thank you for covering that. So our minute coverage is now picked up again by Leontina.
Correct.
And so back to the May minutes, assuming that you've all read them, pored over them, major edits and so on. Are we prepared to approve the May minutes?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Phew. Motion?
Motion,
So moved.
so moved.
Thank you. The chair will second, just to have a participation in this. All right. Assuming no other commentary, once again, Cindy Matheson,
Cindy Matheson, I.
Ted Carr,
Aye.
Rob Henry,
Henry, I.
Steve Gomer, aye. Okay, the motion to accept the minutes from May are completed, unanimous vote. I believe that's all the official business.
The only other thing was just a brief mention of if you haven't submitted to re-up your membership for the trust, they will all be expiring June 30th. And I wanted to give you a thank you for your last meeting. It's been a pleasure working with you.
And you, Cassandra, I have to say that, and I've said this before to everybody here in the room and some people who are not here anymore. It's the most functional committee. When I say committee, I realize it's a board of trustees, but it functions as a committee. It's the most high functioning group of people I've ever had the opportunity and pleasure to deal with. And it's bittersweet for me to end my service to the town. But I'm glad to end it with this group of people. So thank you. In a short period of time, I simply want to make a couple of points. The trust started from 0 miles per hour and at 0 altitude. And through rapid work and the help of the town manager, your predecessor, et cetera, we managed to get a land swap or a land placement, which is now becoming 2 units at 808 Jerusalem. We've been loud and supportive of a structure that actually produced 4 additional units for the town based upon the development of the harbor. And, we're in purchasing and remarketing 43 Elm, we not only learned a great deal, including what we should and shouldn't be doing, but we're preserving a unit and frankly making it an awful lot nicer than it had been. And that's a plus. In the meantime, we're leaving a trust with a balance of somewhere in the neighborhood of 1.3 million and a property that's worth almost an additional 300,000. I would say that's from ground zero and at no speed. We've gotten this rolling and there's a lot more to do. And I look forward to seeing what you all will accomplish. So thank you.
Good luck to you.
Cindy, thank you.
Yeah, could I just say the level of activity and energy and ability to get things done has largely been to your leadership of this trust, Steve. So that should never be underestimated, nor should our level of appreciation be underestimated for what you've done. So
It's very
major
kind of you.
thank yous all around. It's not
That's
to be
very
the
kind.
same.
But it could be better.
Oh, I don't know about that. I think you set a
sure.
pretty darn high bar.
Well, thank you all once again. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ted.
Then, second.
All right, motion in a second. Once again, Cindy Matheson,
Cindy Matheson, I.
Ted Carr,
Ted Carr, aye.
Rob Henry,
Rob Henry, I.
and Steve Gomer, aye. And adios, folks. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Quite welcome. And thank you once again, Cassandra.
You can do the mic drop now. Gomer out.